Welcome everyone to HFN. Today's July 13th, 2020. Here to give y'all the very quick price forecast update for the three indexes, the NASDAQ, the S&P 500, as well as the Dow. The last time we did our video for those three indexes was on June the 14th, 2020. So now it's about time for us to update you all on what we're actually feeling from a market trapper perspective in the sense of how the market is feeling. All right, so if this is your first time watching our video, hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and then on our own website at HueFinancial.com. All of the links will be there listed in the description of this video because it's our purpose to give y'all a heads up as to how the market is expected to go and trade in the future. So now the first one that we're going to talk about is the NASDAQ. Like I told you, we played these forecasts on a weekly time frame because we understood that we was going to come back on a daily basis to update each and every one of you on the recent price action that has occurred in the market. So we played the NASDAQ, the S&P 500, and the Dow on a weekly time frame. And you guys can see right here, zoom in a little bit closer for the NASDAQ, that we played the weakness into the market in the NASDAQ right there. And we were expecting the market in the NASDAQ to move to the downside. We had a TP in the NASDAQ right there around 9,400 points, and then literally the next week it did occur, but we ended up closing at the high of the bar. So if you guys wasn't able to catch that 9,400 TP location since our video, then you missed out. Okay, but nevertheless, we TP the market at 9,400 points, which was about 2.7% profitability, and that happened right before the market moved higher. Okay, so that was a very accurate and predictable forecast to occur into the market. We're going to go ahead and get rid of that now for the NASDAQ. And one thing we want to talk about is that the NASDAQ is in uncharted territory, simply meaning that we are trading at all-time highs so far for the NASDAQ. I mean, the last time we did our video, we was talking about how the NASDAQ came and touched this ascending line 3 times in a row, and the weakness to the downside was anticipated. It didn't last long, okay, for the NASDAQ. So much so that 2 weeks after that, the market in the NASDAQ broke above that ascending line. And then last week, we got a major spread to conclude last week with the close on the high. The market in the NASDAQ is relatively strong. It is the strongest out of the 3 indexes. I'm telling you that once again, just like we told you in our last video, that the NASDAQ is definitely one of the strongest indexes out of the 3. So what I'm going to do, you guys can clearly see here that the market in the NASDAQ is not following this ascending line anymore. It broke it. And that also gives you more evidence of how strong the market in the NASDAQ is trading. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and get rid of that. And considering that we are in uncharted territory, it is impossible to determine how high a market is going to go seemingly when it's in uncharted territory. Okay, so literally the market trapper understands that he has full control of this particular market in the NASDAQ. When he or she feels that he's ready to move the market lower, then it will occur. Now, the way that you'll be able to tell that will be on the increase in volume at the highs. All right. So yeah, the market in the NASDAQ is relatively strong right now. We will be anticipating this particular index to move higher in price, but I cannot tell you where TP is going to be because the market hasn't ever traded this high before. So anywhere in this green will have to be a TP, anywhere. So the later that you watch this video, the less likely it is that you will be able to see how high the market is going to go. So yeah, the market in the NASDAQ is relatively strong. We're going to continue to play the strength into the market for the NASDAQ. And like I told you, anywhere in the green will have to be TP. We cannot analyze anywhere in the background of this chart of how high the market is going to go. Just remember, the only way you'll tell when the change occurs from a market trapper perspective is when we see this market trade at all-time highs on high volume and we close on the low. Okay, so make sure you understand that. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the next one, which is the S&P 500. So let's go ahead and look at the S&P 500 from a weekly time frame. Let's go ahead and zoom in real quick. So you can see right here that when we did our video for the S&P 500 on June the 14th, we had a TP in the S&P 500 2950, and literally the next following week the market did come and tag that out. So hopefully is able to get that 2950 out the market, which is about 2.75% profitability in that market move. Let's get rid of it. And again, this particular index is strong too, but it's not as strong as the NASDAQ because the NASDAQ is trading in uncharted territory. But we have already seen the S&P 500 trade above 3,200 to 3,300 points. That has already occurred. So at least we have an idea of how high a market in the S&P 500 can go before the trap reverses course and try to push the value back down to the downside. So already we're going to continue with that strength into the market for the S&P 500. So for us to come back and test the all-time highs for this index, it will be about 6% profitability in the market for the S&P. So this area right here is where I'm gauging some area of restriction to come into the market in the NASDAQ. So I would say we would TP the market around 3240, 3235, which would be very meager in the sense of taking profitability, maybe about 1%. And I only say that because we came up there and topped that right here for June the 8th, 9th, and the 10th for the S&P 500. Okay, so we would TP just a little bit off around 3235. But I'm bringing it up just a tad higher. Okay, so we'll TP the market around 3235, around 3260. So let's go ahead and play this on the weekly time frame real quick. I'm just going to extend it up just a little bit higher though for a long-term perspective, considering that we really don't cover this particular index on a daily basis. But yeah, the strength into the market in the S&P 500 is still ongoing, so we're going to continue to play that way. All right, so now we're going to look at this last one, which is going to be the Dow. So here we are looking at the Dow. Again, we played a weakness on June the 14th for the Dow, and we TP the market at 25,000 points, and the market came and tagged that area literally the next 3 consecutive weeks. So hopefully you was able to tag out the market at least one of those 3 weeks to grab profit of about 2%. All right, so let's go ahead and get rid of that. And again, we have an idea of where restriction can be at for the Dow, just like the S&P 500. So yeah, we're going to continue to play the strength into the market for the Dow. But just like the S&P 500, we're able to determine where will be the likely point to which the trap will actually try to induce some selling, and it's right around this vicinity right here, because this market in the Dow has seen some problems trying to break above 26,600 sats, give or take. So yeah, we'll have to TP some of that off the market right there. 26,600 sats would be about 1%, right? But again, I'm going to extend it up a little bit higher since we're playing this particular market for a long-term view, and 2.5% is definitely something that's in the cards for the market for the Dow. So we're going to continue to play the strength into the market in the Dow. 26,600 all the way up there to 27,000 points is where the TP area is going to be at for the Dow. And again, we're still seeing strength into the market for these 3 indexes. But the first of the strongest is the NASDAQ. The S&P 500 and the Dow is not so strong, but it is giving us strength though. So on all 3 indexes, we're going to continue to play the strength into the market. Some of them will run across some restriction relatively quick. So that's why we place a very early TP out into the market for the S&P 500 and the Dow. But generally, I don't see that much weakness really playing out for these 3 indexes. So you guys got questions or comments, let us know. Make sure you maintain our profitability and I will see you all on the next one.